How's it going? Look who made it to the studio today. It is the one and only Queen Bree here live on Clean Greens Living, broadcasted on your very own Rainier Avenue Radio. Today is a good day. Today started off as the most randomest day. I almost just gave up and recorded from home because nothing was working right. But look, everything always works out. So let that be a lesson to just keep going. Um, don't forget CSAs. We have a goal for our CSAs, and we are almost at our goal. We I don't know. Should I share the goal with you guys? I get the goal right now is to get 50 CSAs, and we are almost there. So if you have not grabbed your bag of CSAs, I encourage you to grab a fresh bag of CSAs. We are getting ready to do our kickoff. The time is flying. It is already almost the end of May. So grab a bag of purchase your CSAs. You buy a CSA, you feed a family. It could be a family you know, or you could leave it up to us to feed a family we know. We are all about community and making sure our community has access to fresh, organic produce. So please visit us at www.cleangreensfarmmarket.com, or you can email me at blackdollarcleangreens@gmail.com and let us know that you are looking to get a CSA. Save the date. Our Boots on the Ground season opening is coming up 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. June 28th. Come and celebrate our season opening. I don't think people understand what it takes to grow produce, get your community involved. It is a lot. And so we like to open it up with a celebration to you for purchasing and to us for the work that we've done, and to our coworkers. We love to celebrate each other. Where bring your best cowboy gear. I have been told that I will be leading the line dance, so I guess it's about time I learned that boots on the ground line dance. And I can't wait because I love to party. Okay, so today, what a beautiful day. Okay, look, first of all, I'm excited because this is my 199 show. Did I say that right? Yeah, 199. Next week will be 200. Like, what? That is wild. I've been doing this for 200 episodes, and I still get nervous every time an episode come on, except for today. But today I'm excited to have a special guest in here. It was very last minute, so I just want to thank my guests for showing up and saying yes, and I want to thank Daniel for making it happen. But this is my emotional support cousin Shiggity Show, medicine woman. But on here it'll say show because we don't want to put too much on Daniel. But Shiggity Show, actually, Shiggity Show, you are medicine. And I know she probably doesn't think she is, but like you really do be like helping me out and lifting me up and encouraging me. And when I feel like I just can't do, like today, I was like, I can't do this. And she was looking like, okay, it's okay. We got this. And we had it. So, and then she also teaches me like as I'm navigating the new, I don't want to say the new breed, but like, I guess it is the new breed. And we're going to get into that. She helps me remember that it is okay to be doing and going through what I go through. So everyone, welcome on Shiggity Show, my best cousin show. Yay! Hey guys. All right. Okay. So I wanted Show to come on this show because today we're going to be talking about boundaries, right? And as I was game planning and getting ready for the show in the car, we were talking. I'm like, what better person to have on the show to talk about this than Show, for so many reasons? Because one, I do need my emotional support cousin right here with me. And two, it was a great example when we were talking about how you can know someone, but you don't know them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh yeah, you need to come on the show. So right now, so this is what started this. Like
Me and they're struggling.
it's okay. So listen, so this I want to talk about boundaries, right? And I want to talk about boundaries for a few reasons. So over the last couple of weeks, not even the last couple of weeks, the last week, there has been so many people in my life that was like, oh, I like they think they know me, right? They're like, oh, I know you. This is why you're doing this. I know you. And it's like, you don't know me.
Right.
Because if you knew me and you knew what I was doing, you wouldn't take me setting boundaries as any form of disrespect
Mm-hmm.
other than a love letter to myself.
Right.
And people don't understand that boundaries is a love letter to yourself.
Yeah.
Most people think it's a form of control, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about control a little later. We may be able to get into this show today, but we only got a little bit of time. But anyways, so when people were like, I know you. So I'm going through these changes in my life where you're never too old to grow. You go through things, you have family trauma. Speaking of, I forgot the question of the day. Question of the day. What is the weirdest thing you have seen when you visited someone's home? What is the weirdest thing? Cho, do you have you figured?
No, because remember I told you I was so protected as a child that I didn't
Yeah.
really notice anything. And the things that
Yeah.
I thought were weird were just little kid stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like adult stuff. Like it was always about family dynamics. And I only noticed it because of the dynamic of my house. And so I would compare people. But other than that, I wasn't in people's business like that. I was in you remember as me as a kid, I was in my own world.
Yeah, she was in her own world. If she wasn't when she was getting, the only time you acted out is when you weren't getting your way.
Yeah.
Then Bratty Shalonda came out.
Still to this day. I mean,
yeah, still to this day, but
it's different. It's a different
you got
kind
a little better.
Yeah, no, it's just I act out differently.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm more mature with my act outs.
So I already share with those in the studio, but one of the weirdest things that I seen going to someone's house when I was younger, growing up in the 80s and 90s was wild. Okay. And so kids, we were able to just explore. And so I grew up in Oklahoma, Okmulgee, Oklahoma. And me and my cousins used to go in some of the community kids. She lives, I want to say it was Creek Village. I gotta ask her. She even remembers this because this can't be Tiffany.
Oh, okay.
Because me and Tiffany, we grew up like siblings, even though she has siblings, but we were the same age.
Right.
And so we went into somebody's apartment, and I always remember seeing a grown person, and I want to say it was a woman in a cage, literally in a cage. And the guy, right. And the guy was whipping the cage, like he was whipping her. And so in my kid mind, I was always trying to understand, how is she getting hurt? Because the cage is stopping it.
Right.
But now that I'm older and know that there's some kinky stuff that goes on behind closed doors,
right,
maybe that was their thing. But why was us kids exposed to it? But no, I don't want to do any other deep dives into it. That was just that I was cleaning out my office and I seen a question, and that made me think of like, what is the weirdest thing I've ever seen going to somebody's house? And that was the weirdest thing. You can't make this stuff up. It was not a dream. It was real life. It happened. And
you should ask Tiffany about it.
I'm going to ask Tiffany about it. I'm like, girl, do you remember? I'm going to have to wait a minute. Shout out to my cousin who recently lost her husband.
Oh, yeah.
But
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. I'm going to ask her.
Definitely.
But yeah, back to the show. So boundaries. Let's talk about it. I remember somebody asked me to have a show on boundaries, and I wanted to talk about it, but it's so complex.
It is.
I didn't know how to start, where to start, because there's so many different forms of why you need to set it, where you need to set it, and how you need to set it.
And how you can.
Where
to start. Like where to start with the boundaries itself. Because sometimes you don't even know you need to set boundaries.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like you don't know until you're uncomfortable. And when you sit in those uncomfortable moments, you have to sit there and be like, why am I uncomfortable? Like, why am I upset?
Yes.
And how can and my whole thing is I don't remember memories. I remember feelings. And so I'm always like, I never want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
So how do I stop myself from feeling like that ever again? And that's when the boundary starts to form.
Yes. Yeah. And some of us, like, we don't even know, like they drill it into you to have boundaries, what boundaries is. And it is like clearly setting limits on in relationships, defining what behaviors and communications can happen.
Right.
And so a lot of times you're setting boundaries and not realizing it, but lately I've been more proactive. So I'll say for me, what made me start setting boundaries was in 2023. I was ending the year and I was working for 3 different individuals. I was doing contract work and I was working for 3 individuals who has similar personalities in the way that they treated me and what was happening. And I ended that year working hard, right? Not being heard, not being respected. And I got sick.
Yeah.
I was so sick and hadn't been that sick ever in my life. And I was working in the event, and the person just didn't even care that I was sick. Didn't even care, wasn't respectful, hired someone else to do the position that I was there to do, wasn't listening. And I delivered all my deliverables. Everything that I said I can do, I did. And then they brought someone in at the last minute to do my job. And so that's when I was like, yeah, this is never happening again.
Right.
Like the last couple of months of my life, I was worried and stressed and working. Hey, Chris, good to see. Right,
Mississippi.
Mississippi. I almost said a name, but I'll text it to you. But yeah, so I knew then that I needed to set boundaries, and that is when I started my whole, I don't know where to start, but I'm gonna start here.
Right.
And sometimes you never know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
But today, as I was getting ready, it's like you never know where to start. You just start.
Yeah.
You just
do it.
Just do it.
Just do
So
it.
I guess my question for you is like, well, Show, you've always been good at setting boundaries.
No, seriously, since birth.
Since we were kids, like Show, she never played no games. And so, like, how did you know as a kid what that was? Or
No, it was the brattiness in me. It was the always being able to get my way. That helped me set boundaries. And even as an adult, I'll say I'm being a brat, but really I'm just setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Really, I'm just like, I have always been able to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah.
For me, setting boundaries is different now, because now it's like with the people I love, I have a hard time setting boundaries. And I'm like in an empathy burnout right now. And I have people who are losing people. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I hate to set the boundary, but it's like, I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? I can't do it anymore. It affects your soul and your everything.
I'm cracking up. One of the boundaries that Show has said, Chris said, he can't speak to her before 9 a.m.
At all. Unless you have coffee in your hand, because I don't hear it. I don't even hear you because I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm not there.
And see, for me, growing up, I have like, my mom, she'll say this too. She didn't know how to raise me, so she raised me like Christ. And so boundaries for me is like, you know how the Catholics say the guilt?
Yeah.
That's I don't know what the Catholic guilt is, but I have Jesus guilt.
Girl, you've been carrying the cross on your back.
I have been
your whole
carrying
life.
the cross on my back my whole life. I mean, I remember being 6 and this lady's like, you can't take everyone with you where you go. And I was like, what does this even mean? Like,
you're like in first grade?
I'm scared to be saved because I'm like, I can't take my friends to Jesus with me. Like, what? And
I mean, they better figure it out.
They better figure it out, honey. I literally, in my grown age now, understand what that means. Right. But that was just to show you how serious my mom was about instilling being like Christ. If someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. I don't know if I ever took on that one. However,
no,
never. But this is how my boundaries were taught.
See, and I had Margaret as a mom. So that's where I learned how to set boundaries. I just thought about that. Duh, my mom was not one to be played with.
Yeah.
At all. And so you learn that though. And she taught me that without even saying a word. It's like she always demanded what she was owed. You know what I'm saying? And she demanded it up front. And
my mom was more like, forgiveness. What would Jesus do? And you guys, as I get older, so this is the thing, is like, as you get older, you recognize that Jesus was not playing no games either. No, Jesus set some straight boundaries. Yes, almost cuss, but Jesus set some straight boundaries. So, I really want to talk about boundaries because when people talk about they know me, but then when I'm setting these boundaries, they think it feels like I'm cussing them out, or now I'm the villain. It's like, then you don't know me.
Exactly.
You don't know me because I'm setting this boundary for specific reasons. I'm setting this boundary for you and for me.
Right.
But I'm setting this boundary so I can be okay.
Also, I will play the villain every day of my life. I'm just telling you right now, if I got to.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way it works. I'm going to be the villain in somebody's story.
And I'm okay. I'm okay now with being at first it hurt because it
hurt your feelings because you're like, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, what are you talking about? But then there is a difference when you're setting boundaries between being nice and kind.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
like when I was nice, I would be like, okay, yes, nice is typically refers to being pleasant and agreeable.
Yep.
But being agreeable does not get things done.
At all.
Being agreeable does not help you in your life. Only certain times being agreeable will help, right? But being kind means setting boundaries. Being kind
Mhm.
means I'm going to be there for you, but I can't be there for you like this.
Exactly.
This is
This is what I have to offer.
This is what I have to offer.
Mhm.
And I've gotten better with that. Like
Mhm.
I can't show up for you like this, but I can show up for you like X, Y, and Z.
Right. And I'm learning that now because I'm the kind of person when one inconvenience happened and I love you, I will drop everything. I will leave work early. I will
Yes.
just like get there. I don't even drive. I will make it to you.
Yes.
And it's like, and then I will stay with you for as long as you need. And like I'm at the point now where I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
Right.
Like I'm tired, man. My soul is tired.
My
you know
soul,
what I
oh
mean?
my God.
My soul
yes.
is tired and it needs its own break. And it's like when I'm worried about your problems, I'm not worried about
Right.
me. So
Right, Daniel. It helps get other people get their stuff done. And then meanwhile,
Yeah.
my stuff is lacking.
yeah, exactly.
And that happens. Like I was being so nice and agreeable. Yes, I could do this. Yes, I could show up for
Mhm.
you. Yes,
Because why not? I love you.
I love
want to
you.
help you.
I want to help you.
Yeah.
And then people have succeeded past me.
Yeah.
And I love them. And I
Mhm.
don't hate them for it.
Right.
But there's places where I could have been if I was kind
Exactly.
and set boundaries of
Mhm.
how I could show up for somebody.
Right.
Because then you don't end up showing up for yourself. Right?
Mm-mm. And then if you don't show up for yourself, who's going to show up for you?
Who's going to show
Because
up for
I'm
you?
teaching you how to treat me. And if you see me
Period.
just putting myself aside for everybody,
Yeah.
you're going to be like, well, you're fine with it.
Yeah, you're okay with
And
it.
I can't get mad at that because that's what I taught you.
Yes. And so now people think that because I don't do that anymore, they think
Right.
I'm being arrogant or they
Mhm.
think I'm being an a-hole
Right.
or they think I don't care. And it's like, it's not that I don't care.
Mhm.
It's just that I have things that I have to do.
Right.
Like this just like last year, I was in the process of moving. Do you know how many people I was there for while I was moving?
I know.
And I think that's probably why it took me out so much because I'm like dropping what I do to show up for this person and that person.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am moving a family of 6
Mhm.
out of a home I've been in for 5
Or
years.
dogs.
Dogs.
that.
Oh my gosh.
all
working.
that, working on top
working
of it. Your
on top of
husband
it.
working a full-time job on
I'm
top of it.
saying.
I mean, kids in school. There was a lot of stuff going on. And then also to take it back to 2023, you're sick. You're dealing with all that. You got to come. It was actually 2024 in the beginning. You got to come and save me.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's
Yeah.
like, that's why I try to be there for you. I try to reciprocate because it's
Yeah.
like, I know that I can, you know what I'm saying? But there's
Yeah.
not so many people. I wouldn't have called anybody
Yeah.
to come and rescue me from that situation. Oh, there was nothing really crazy happening. It's just-
Yeah, she wasn't happy.
I was just far away.
She was living her life.
Yeah, I was living my life.
She was living her best life. Is decided she didn't want to live it no more.
No, I was like, okay, I'm done. I've had enough.
Oh my goodness. But I never had the ability to do that because I was the firstborn daughter.
Mhm.
I was the firstborn. I'm born in the 80s. We're coming off of years of men being the center
Yeah.
of lives.
Mhm.
And so I grew up like that too. And even though me and my brother are 12 years apart, I have always been the family manager.
Yeah.
I have always managed feelings,
Yeah.
emotions, even before I even knew what managing feelings and emotions were.
You were doing it.
I was doing it.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to manage my feelings and
Mhm.
emotions and being okay with it.
Right.
But you can't set boundaries until you get to know who you are and what you need.
Right. And what you need.
And what
That's
you
the
need.
biggest part right there. What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you
And you
need?
can set it, but you won't feel comfortable.
Mm-mm. You're not going to feel
You're not
comfortable.
gonna feel comfortable.
Setting boundaries sucks. It's
Yes,
the
it
worst
does.
thing. And like, I hate it, but you got to do it.
I hate
You
it.
got
I'll be
it.
feeling so bad. I'll be
I
like,
do.
I'll ignore a text, or I'll ignore a phone call, and I'll
Mhm.
feel bad. Like, "Oh, I got it. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
But see, I always remember about those times where I felt bad and I gave in, and then I was like halfway in it, and I was like, "No, why did you? You had an out. You were out.
You-
You were gone. Why are you back here?"
And if this isn't making sense, okay, setting boundaries is setting clear things on what you can and you can't do for someone, something, work, like romantic relationships, family
Mhm.
relationships, work. You have to set clear boundaries, lines. You're drawing the line in
Yeah.
the sand
Yeah.
of what it is acceptable. Like you said,
Mhm.
I don't want to ever feel this way again.
Mhm.
I don't ever want to feel this way again. And what can I do for myself
Right.
to not feel this way? And I think one of the things that helped me, Deacon Jenna says, keep on living. It gets easier and easier.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Because
you
I
for
need to
that.
hear that.
Right. And I think one of the things that was helpful for me was when I did this workshop for Momentum, they have you create a contract for yourself.
Mm.
And I think that was one of the things that were very helpful. They were like, what do you want to be when you go out in this world? And I was like, I want to be bold, trusting, and open. And so now when I'm presented with opportunity, it's like, are you bold, open? Are you trusting? And if someone screws me over with that, I also still use that. Were you bold, open, and trusting? So that wasn't
Right.
something that was a diss to you. That's their bad.
Right.
But you still were able to do what you came here to do, right?
Exactly.
So having that contract help. And then another tip that I would say for someone is get a vision and a purpose. Like, what do you want in life?
Right.
What do you want to see happen? How do you want it to happen? And that's also going to help you. So now I'm like, does this align with what I want?
Right.
Does this align with what I need?
And you got to get the noise out of your head. It's about what you want.
Yeah.
And it's like,
we love
and
you too.
And you have to be ready for things to be difficult, for things to fall apart. Because
Yes.
I remember I was on this whole healing journey and I was good, honey. And then one thing turned into two things, turned into three things, turned into four things, and I was on the ground. And it was like, okay, so you're on the ground, but you did all that healing to help you pull yourself back up easily. So
And people don't talk about that. Like when you're healing, first of all, there's nothing wrong with having to heal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us didn't have that picture perfect life, regardless if we grew up in the church or not.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that picture perfect life. So it's okay to still be healing and in a process. And it's okay to be in your 40s, which I am, learning things as I go. But they don't talk about how hard it is to heal.
Yeah.
Healing is not easy.
Mm-mm.
And going through, like, I thought I was losing it. Like I was tired. I just want to rest. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I just want to sit there in peace. And that's just part of your body healing.
Yeah.
You're no longer trying to survive, you're living.
You're living.
So now I'm living. Where people think I'm being conceited, it's like, no, I'm living. I'm enjoying the beauty in who Bree is.
And honestly, I'm doing what I gotta do to live.
Girl,
like I am doing what I got to do to survive.
You only get one
here.
life.
Yeah,
you only get one life.
And you will be healing for the rest of your life.
Yes, you will. You will. I mean, and like little triggers and traumas. Learning how to deal with triggers and traumas. Like I had a trigger this weekend, and I didn't realize I was having a trigger.
Right.
And I had to realize it was little Bree coming up.
Yes.
And like in my therapy session, it sounds weird, but she had me talk to little Bree. So this weekend, I had to get with little Bree and be like, Bree, you don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a grown up here.
Right.
And I can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And so we're going to pull back and we're going to make moves that supports the grown-up Bree. Little Bree, you're okay.
And that's the best thing, is also talking to your inner child.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to set a boundary unless you get it squared away with your inner child.
Oh yeah, because your little child be ready to ride for
your
you.
Inner child is literally the one that sets the tone for everything. It literally is. It's the driving force of why you are who you are today.
Yes.
It's literally, and you have to let your inner child know, I'm going to protect us. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm okay. I don't need you to protect me. I'm going to protect you.
And your inner child can be different ages depending on
where you were stuck at.
Where you were stuck at, where something happened. I remember something happening to me in my 20s where I'm gonna share a little bit, where this guy was like, he told my friend, like, we would never be together. She's an uneducated single mother, right? And what he said didn't necessarily hurt me. It was the reaction of a friend, right? But that child, that young person, was a driving point in a lot of decisions that I was making. And so I had to get with that person and, first of all, break down what that meant for me and what that was. And I'm okay now. But to think about how that young person, that 20-something-year-old person, was making a lot of decisions in my marriage, a lot of decisions in my business, and my job, like a lot of decisions. So your inner child can be any age, depending on what happened to you. And it doesn't have to be something so dramatic. It doesn't have, like, that was nothing. That was nothing dramatic, but it did spark something from me growing up, I guess, if we say that. So it wasn't necessarily about that person, what that said. It was, first of all, I am educated. I graduated high school. I just didn't go to college like the rest of them.
Right.
And so I had to get behind that. And then, so work through my childhood trauma of why I didn't go to college and what that meant for me. So it wasn't even necessarily about some guy, but it was about
It's
that.
about the words being said.
It
to
was
you.
about the words being said to me and
Mhm.
how you guys were looking at me and how I have been looked at my
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah.
So that 20-something-year-old Breon triggered the little girl Breon,
Mhm.
and then they got together and they was causing a ruckus.
That's the thing. It's like multiple ages. Because I got
Yeah.
a 6-year-old that be going off, honey. And then a 6-year-old that be going off. And then a teenager who be like, do it.
Oh,
Go
my
off.
goodness.
Tear it all down. Somebody got to be the adult. You know
Well,
what I
right.
mean?
And now I feel like I'm getting with that inner child and we're coming to wreck some stuff up. But
Mhm.
I'm the adult.
Right.
I'm the driving force. We're going to have fun.
Yeah.
We're going to heal ourselves. I heal myself even when I go to the dollar store
Honey,
and I see a toy that excites me.
don't play.
I will buy that toy and I will play with it. You have to do things like you
And
said.
it sounds stupid.
It
It's
sounds
weird.
but it's
Bria,
helpful.
what did I tell you I wanted to be when I grew up when I was a little kid?
But
I wanted to be a witch who
yeah.
lived in the forest with a little cabin by a creek. And now I live in a room that is literally the forest.
Yes. But you know, she wants to be a witch so bad, but she's more of a fairy. Like her aesthetic is fairy. It gives me fairy vibes. But you could be a witch if you want
I
to.
am dangerous though. No,
Yeah, right. Right. Remember that, Chris.
Yeah.
She is a witch. She don't play.
Just bring the
But no-
copy.
But no, so like healing your inner child, right? So these are a few things that can help you start setting boundaries. Getting with your inner child, talking to your inner child, having conversations. What is it that your inner child is screaming for, right? Also, what is another way? Having a contract, write down what you need so you can always go back to where is this serving me? Remember, like you said, I love how you said how I feel.
Yeah.
How do I feel in
That's
this moment?
important.
Do I feel good?
Mhm.
And how did this person make me feel? And why did they make me feel this
And
way?
why is the big question, because it sometimes it's about that person, but sometimes it has nothing to do
It
with
has
them.
nothing to do with the person. It has everything to do with you.
Yeah.
So we are going to continue on this journey of like healing and what does it look like and healthy, because everybody talks about health, but nobody talks about that mental health.
Mhm.
And in mental health, once you get that driving point of your mental health, everything else starts to make sense and you can accomplish a lot.
Right.
So thank you for joining and join us next week for our 200th episode. Like what?
Woo!
200
That's crazy.
episodes. Crazy.
That's insane.
So join us next week. Thank you for tuning in to Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasting here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. Connect with us. Let us know what you think. All right. Bye.